So Star Wars just dropped a single name in Star Wars Maul Shadow Lord, and it might completely change how we look at it. Solo a Star Wars story. Because in episode 8, right at the very end, we get a reveal that feels small but is actually huge, and it all comes down to one character. Dryden was, yeah, that Dryden was. The Crimson Dawn leader from Solo, played by Paul Bettany. So here's what happened. A smuggler named Loti Vario casually reveals that he's been contacted by a representative of Dryden was, who wants a meeting with Darth Maul. And just like that, Shadow Lord connects directly to Solo. Now, if you remember, Maul's appearance in Solo was one of the most surprising moments in modern Star Wars. Out of nowhere, he shows up as the true power behind Crimson Dawn. Not the public leader, but one pulling the strings from the shadows. And for years, fans have been asking the same question: how did Maul get there? Because the timeline never fully explained how he went from a fallen Sith to a crime syndicate mastermind. And that's exactly the gap Shadow Lord is starting to fill. At this point in the series, Maul is in a very specific phase of his life. This takes place after Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, but before his final appearance in Star Wars Rebels. He's not at his peak, but he's not completely broken either. He's rebuilding, repositioning, and most importantly, is looking for power. So when Dryden Voss enters the picture, it's not random, it's strategic, because this could be the moment where Maul begins forming or reforming his criminal empire, something fans of Star Wars The Clone Wars will recognize as the Shadow Collective, that alliance of crime syndicates that Maul once controlled. And if Shadow Lord follows the path, then this connection to Crimson Dawn makes perfect sense, because in Solo, Voss is just the face of the operation. Maul is the one behind the curtain, which means this meeting being teased right now, it could be the beginning of the entire power structure. And it also helps clean up one of the biggest timeline gaps in Star Wars, because until now, Maul's rise to crime lord status has mostly happened off screen. We knew the end result, but not the end journey. Now we are finally seeing how those pieces come together. And there's another interesting detail here. Dryden Voss isn't actually new to Maul's story. He was briefly referenced back in the Clone Wars, where Maul was already dealing with leaders of various criminal organizations, including Crimson Dawn. So this isn't just a random crossover, it's a continuation of something that's been quietly building for years. And if the show follows through, we could see why Maul trusted was enough to let him run things publicly when he stayed hidden, which, if you think about, is very on brand for Maul. Operate in the shadow, let others take the spotlight, control everything from behind the scenes. So yeah, it's just a quick name drop, but it might be setting up something much bigger, because if this storyline continues into the final episode or even season 2, Shadow Lord could end up being the missing link between the Clone Wars and Solo, and finally show us how Darth Maul become one of the most dangerous crime lords in the galaxy, all from a single, almost thrown away line. Classic Star Wars. Thank you for watching. Bye.